Okay, moving along. Here's a question that was sent in. Singles often feel, this is Rabbi Schechter, singles often feel as though they may be leading a less meaningful life, even if they're involved in chesed, have meaningful careers, contribute to society in many ways. How should singles approach this time in order to strengthen their bitachon and feel that their efforts and actions have purpose?
It's very easy to tell somebody else, to have emunah and bitachon. But really, the way we feel is the way we feel. We can decide to a great extent how we feel. I don't want to use the example of Sarah Shanira, who I think was only married for a very short time, and look what she accomplished. Because at the end, she never actually got married again. But the idea that because you're single, you're chas v'shalom, considered to be less of a successful person until that time that you get married, is something that a person has to determine on their own. No one is going to tell me what chashivas I have. I know what chashivas I have. When I was in third grade, I'm not going to say in which yeshiva, there was a Rebbe, he was still taking the Kama on the Nazis. We don't have them anymore. And he divided the class into three. There was the Mitsuyan class, there was the Beinani class, and the Beinani row, and there was the Goylem row. Rebbe didn't call it the Goylem row, but the kids did. And I was in the Goylem row. I wasn't the best student. And I never even made anything out of it. I never told my parents about it. I was in the Goylem row, okay? And one day they were fixing the lights, and the Rebbe told me to sit in the other row, and I was so excited. I thought I was promoted to Beinani. And then after the electrician fixed the lights, I was sent back to the Goylem row. So I chapped. I wasn't the brightest bulb in the box, you get it. So I chapped. It was only because of the bulb. Then and I came home and I mentioned to my parents, I thought I was out of the Goylem row. I thought so, but it turned out it was only because of the electrician. And my father said nothing. A couple of weeks later, I changed yeshivas. I asked my father why I'm changing yeshivas, and he said, there's the yeshiva that just started, they need boys. And it took me a while later to realize why he changed my yeshivas. But I said to my father, why didn't you just what? The Goylem row? This is going to affect you the rest of your life? Chas v'shalom. I am calling that Rebbe. I am going to write articles to every single newspaper. There weren't that many newspapers and magazines around it. He didn't do that. He said, okay, I know, I hear. So I said, well, nice you changed my yeshiva, obviously, and it was a great experience from there within it on. My father said to me, because I don't want you to say, oh yeah, I was in the Goylem row, and that's why anything that's going to go wrong in your life, you're going to blame it on that. I did that good, and I wasn't going to let it go on, but I wasn't going to make an issue out of it. I remember my father telling me the only one that can decide that you're a Goylem is you. And if you decide you're not, you're not. I think we have to have a self-worth. The Rebbeinu Shalom loves you. The Rebbeinu Shalom created you. He feels your pain. He knows what you're going through. Your chashivas, your tear, your davening, your kapitel tilim, your bizyonis, there are malachi shemayim that are crying for you. Why it didn't happen yet, I don't know how the Rebbeinu Shalom runs the world. I'm not a malach, but I think that this is something that we have to, of course you have to be extremely sensitive, but a person has to build up their own self-esteem and say, I am who I am and I'm a human being, and if I don't look down at myself, nobody else will as well.
Rabbi Schechter,
yes.
On my way to Mincha before, I met a friend of mine, low 30s, single guy, and I told him I'm doing this. I said, give me a question. He said, all my questions are negative. I said, just give me one question. What do you want me to ask? He said, I'll tell you what me and all my friends want to know. I'm going to ask the question, whether you want to, either one you want to answer or not. Why does the community look down upon us? We're successful. We're lawyers. We're doctors. We're accountants. We're not married yet. Why do they look down upon us?
Part of it, I think, is an automatic offshoot because we look up at marriage so much. But does the community look down? I don't know. In my personal life, I have unfortunately some friends that are single, and some of them that I use all the time, and in terms of the professional services. And I always say, I hope I'm doing enough to try to help them. So I say that I look down at someone because they're not married. You can't force people to look up or look down. But there's the famous word by the Meraglim, the Yisu b'aneim kechagavim, we look like grasshoppers, k'neyu b'aneim. The Meraglim thought that they're grasshoppers and therefore they take a look like grasshoppers. And I think that if we don't look down at ourselves, then people will start looking up at us. But does the community have prejudices? Every community does. It's unfortunate. It's something that we have to just build a mechitza around ourselves and believe in our own self-worth, I think.
Rabbi Eisen, if you want to answer that question.
If I may add one thing, and that's really the greatness of such a session like we're having now. I think that these type of discussions and hearing, some really valuable ways of thinking and thinking about ourselves and promoting self-worth, like we just heard from Rabbi Schechter, I think that's a necessary venue. We need to, this is a type of a platform, as you said, that, the 10K, is has many platforms. This platform is crucial because this way you get out the word that everyone has that value. And the more you speak about these extremely sensitive topics, the more you're going to make an impact. The more you speak about something, the more it's internalized. The more you speak about even the perception of somebody being looked down upon because they're single, and you try to undo that perception. Will it work entirely? No. How about l'shlish l'mechzel revia? Partially, yes. And then all of a sudden, trends can change, or at least individuals could feel differently about themselves. But the point is that these type of platforms that were organized by people that mean kulei l'shem shemayim are one of the most valuable ways to be able to convey crucial messages about how singles think and how they internalize events in their life and their perceptions that we need to make sure that they know how much they're cared for.
Rabbi Eisen just